Hello, I'm Blue and today I'll be doing studies on backgrounds. But before I start, today's video is brought to you by Squarespace. From websites to online stores to analytics, Squarespace is an all-in-one platform to build your online presence and build your business. Squarespace will help you create professional websites from galleries to stores to personal blogs. Having a website dedicated to your work as an artist is important for clients to see what you have to offer and to reach out to you. I use Squarespace to create a portfolio for my work using the already made portfolio templates that they offer. It's very easy to throw together and looks professional and tidy. I also created a website where all my commissions and social media are linked so clients can contact me through there, along with my email at the bottom. This took me less than 30 minutes to make and I'm very satisfied with the end result. There are so many different types of templates you can find on their website for all different kinds of aesthetics and art styles. Squarespace is nice enough to offer you guys 10% off of your next purchase using my coupon code BlueBiscuits. If you're interested in creating yourself a beautiful website, please check them out at squarespace.com/bluebiscuits using my coupon code. Thank you again to Squarespace for sponsoring this video, and now on to my studies. Backgrounds are some of the hardest things for me to draw. I have no knowledge on drawing them whatsoever, and I've only done like 3 studies probably in my entire life on backgrounds. I always tend to wing them in my art when I do draw them, and even then I spend so much time trying to get them to look alright that I kind of like lose interest in it. So today I'll be showing you some of my background studies and I'll be explaining like some of the things that I noticed while I was doing background studies. Before anyone asks, I have a Tumblr where I kept all my background references, or where I saved them basically. I'll have the name up on the screen and you can follow if you're interested, or you can go through there, but you can find background pictures on Pinterest and Instagram and Google. It doesn't really matter. You can even take your own background pictures. And the brush I'm using is a Clip Studio Paint brush. I'll have it linked in the description, and my art program is Clip Studio Paint, and I'm using a Q&N Canvas 13 tablet to draw. Everyone always asks me that, but I kind of always have the information linked in the beginning of the video. There's way more things that you can learn and break down in a study. This is just what I do. I'm sorry if this is not what you were looking for when you want to learn, but remember, every artist does things differently. There's not really a rule that you have to follow when you're studying. So this is just the way I do it. Whenever I think of backgrounds, my first thought is always Bob Ross and his art tutorials. Bob has some of the most amazing techniques. The way he builds backgrounds and stuff is very interesting, and like the videos that I've watched from him, I've learned quite a bit. Like, Bob builds his backgrounds from the furthest points forward, so he'd always start from the back and then build forward. So he'd do like the sky first, and then the mountains, and then the field in front, you know?
Indication of a happy little cloud, all you do is just sort of tap. Little stringy cloud just lives right there in the brush, and that easy.
So that's kind of what I'm doing in this first study. I started with the background color and I started slowly moving forward, just like he did. Another thing that Bob does that I find very interesting is when he's building shape, basically. Like when Bob is drawing objects, he starts by laying down the darkest color, so the darkest color, he lays that down first, and then he builds shape in that object with lighting. So
maybe back in here, and I know this is going to look like we're destroying everything. Don't worry about it. We don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents.
For example, when he draws trees, he puts down like this really black color, and he kind of like lays out the shape first, and then he defines the tree's shape, like the 3D, with like a green color, you know? So that's what I did. I started by forming shapes with the darkest colors, and then I started adding light colors to define them more. My favorite kind of backgrounds are the messy, shapely backgrounds. They aren't as detailed, so that's kind of what the study I was doing now. I wasn't going too much into detail and stuff.
And put all kinds of little highlights. Don't kill all your dark areas though. Evergreens are usually quite dark, so try not to kill all those dark areas. They're important, especially in evergreens. Okay, a little bit out here on this one. Don't want him left out. That easy.
Same with the next study. I started building up from the ground forwards. I started from background, like the sky, and I moved forwards, basically just laying down all the stuff that I saw of the reference, basically. I'm relying heavily on shapes rather than details. For example, the leaves I'm drawing aren't individual leaves. So I broke it down into a couple of squares. So if you look from far away, you'll see that it's a tree, but from close up, it's just a bunch of squares. I do that because most people, when they look at your art, they aren't going to stare for a couple of hours. They're just going to like look at it quickly and then probably scroll past. So I don't really see what's the necessary of putting that much detail into something if people aren't going to really notice it. You could rather make it look like there's a lot of detail, kind of like an illusion. So I'd rather do that than waste a lot of time drawing each individual leaf. But then again, it isn't as like super messy that you can't see what it is, but yeah. I'm not really sure if this even counts as studies, but since I'm basically just trying to learn shapes and colors and lighting and stuff, but in these I'm color picking, and in the later ones I'll try to stop color picking since I feel like learning to choose your own colors is really important. I'm trying not to spend that much time obsessing over colors, but in this one I'm drawing clouds, so I would... Again, and I start by laying down the basic shapes and colors and stuff. So I started with the sky, which is like probably the biggest part of it, and then the like water. So I lay down those colors first. And then I start by adding like little squares of color placements by basically planning out where everything will go. Something really cool that I noticed with like clouds is they're kind of like really round and fluffy, so that they have a shape to them. I never really noticed because I haven't really drawn that many clouds before. But clouds have like an under part and then a top part. So to define a cloud, you put the top part like a really light color, and then at the bottom you'd make like a shading as if it's like lying on top of something. It took me a little bit of a while to figure out. I think I only figured that out like in the second picture that I was drawing with clouds in it. But yeah, I think I need to do more cloud studies. So the next study I decided to do indoors since I do want to make a comic one day, and most of that is going to be like inside, like the setting will be inside rather than outside, so I need a little bit of knowledge on that as well. I also decided not to color pick with these ones, so I'm like looking at the reference and trying to pick the colors that I think would suit there. So for the inside one, I did it in black and white from like the start, so I can get all the shapes right, so I don't have to worry about the colors. So I'm basically building the shapes. So I'm like looking at the picture and looking which shapes are the most important. In the first one, it's like the little window, and then the bookshelf, obviously, and then the table. So I lay those out and I plan out where they're gonna go, and then I start defining them with like more different colors and stuff, with more like shape and stuff. So different lightings and different blacks and whites, basically. And then when I'm done kind of like planning out everything, I set the layer to multiply and I start adding colors. So then I use different layer settings like overlay, color dodge, soft light, and that kind of stuff to try and get all the colors correct. I don't really have a formula that I use. I just kind of play around until I figure out which colors I like and which colors I don't. And since this is inside and is a library, there are a lot of details, but I'm going to try and avoid doing as much detail as I can. So there are books here, and rather than drawing each individual book and wasting my time on that, I will rather make it like an illusion and like just do little stripes. The Skies Desert book, I guess I could say that. I do that for most of the drawing. It's not like I'm drawing the entire thing. I'm more like looking at the shape of it and then trying to make an illusion that that's what's there. Same with the next. Same with the next one. I did black and white. I find black and white is a lot easier to like concentrate on lighting and how lighting would make the shapes look. But I feel like I still need a lot more learning on like lighting and shapes and that kind of stuff. So I think maybe my next study would be grayscaling and how I break down stuff. The next one was kind of difficult because like there was a lot more lighting in than what I was expecting, but I realized I can just add the lighting later. So you'll see I add the lighting, draw over it, and then add it again later because I wasn't very confident in the shapes I was having. Around here, I started to become really burnt out. I would like lay down the basic shapes, but I wasn't really defining anything. I think I was just becoming really tired of drawing backgrounds over and over again. So this one's kind of messy, but I feel like I can still see what's going on, so that's fine. But I think I should have maybe spent a bit more time trying to define more shapes and stuff. I do like the lighting and I do like the color picking. I realized here that like you can add blue on like the darker places, and that would like kind of break the colors, I guess. So yeah. So in all of these, I haven't really done any line art or like actual drawing of anything. This is mostly just me putting in shapes and then defining the shapes later. So it's basically been a rendering of a lot of things. So I decided to try and actually draw one. So this is what I was drawing. I was drawing the inside. Again, I laid everything down. I planned it out with the black and white, where all the objects was going to go. And then I redrew it on top of it. Then I like lined it basically. I found this very difficult because I'm not really good at line art and stuff, but I did take architecture in school, so something that I learned like with like perspective and like room drawings, I guess, is like almost everything is kind of parallel to each other. So like the walls are like parallel, and like if you see that there by like the table, the lines are parallel with each other. Most of my lines aren't exactly 100% parallel, but that's just the way I like it. I kind of like the messy look to it. But you can use like perspective grids and stuff to get your room like looking perfect, kind of. But that wasn't really the look that I was going for, or like the look I'd really care about. I feel like that would take a lot of time, and that isn't really what stuff that I'd like to do. I'd rather just like to be able to sketch a background really quick and have it look fine, you know? So for the final couple of studies, I gave up on quite a bit of them. For the final couple of studies, I was also just practicing lines, so I didn't really do any color. I was basically, you know, just laying down shapes and then drawing on top of them, trying to get all the lines that would look right. Yeah. I just want to say thank you so much for all the support on my last couple of videos. It's been really, really overwhelming because I wasn't expecting so many people to all of a sudden like support me so much. That means so much to me. I don't even know what to say. I think I'm just like really in shock that that happened so quickly. I again, I don't know what I'm doing. I just made these videos for fun of it. And yeah, so if you guys like have anything that you want to like voice and stuff, with stuff I can improve on and like with my videos, you can like let me know in the comments, and I'll take that into consideration. Like my last video, people were like telling me that I wasn't doing anatomy studies. I was more like doing basic shape studies, I guess. I didn't really realize there was a difference because I've always just done anatomy studies like the way I showed there, and it always worked for me. But they were saying like I need to do muscle studies and stuff. I don't know. But I'm glad people are enjoying my random videos that I throw together. Yeah, and then my next video will be hands. I'm very excited because I love drawing hands, and I have so many like cool techniques that I came up with that like help me figure out hands and stuff. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for that. Anyways, this is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Please check out Squarespace with the link in the description, and use my coupon code if you do want to buy from them. Thank you again, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!